growing up, I could never understand my parents not letting me and my brothers have a trampoline. And now the American Academy of Pediatrics or something says, yeah, trampolines are actually dangerous, believe it or not.
I mean, yeah, they're dangerous. I had a few injuries on my trampoline, but like, isn't that part of being a kid? You're going to do stuff, you're going to be playing, and you're going to get injured?
What was the thing that whenever you were a kid, your parents had a rule about, and you thought they were so dumb for the rule, and now a few years later, you're like, oh, wait a second, they totally knew what they were doing with that.
So I understand my parents completely on this one. And this was just, it was new age. But I remember whenever MySpace was all the rage.
Yeah.
Like for Christmas that year, I asked for a digital camera because I wanted to be able to take selfies of myself so I could create my MySpace profile and become a top 8 friend of all my other friends. And my parents were like, no social media. You cannot have it.
That's a good rule.
It was a great rule. I understand it now. I hate the fact that I went behind their backs and created my MySpace page anyways, which I did feel so guilty about that it lasted like a month, and I was like never on my friend's top 8 list, and it crushed me, so I was like, delete.
Do you remember what song you had on your profile?
Oh, all emo songs.
Really?
All like Simple Plan, Good Charlotte, all that stuff. It was always an emo song.
So you were just a kid.
This was what your MySpace sounded like.
Which very fitting of me being like, I'm going to create my MySpace page anyway.
That's pretty funny. So what rule did your parents have? You thought it was dumb and strict and stupid, and now you're a little bit older, and it's like, oh, they had a point there.
They did.
Because trampolines, according to doctors, are bad. And trampolines are something that I saw as an adult, and I was like, wait a second, did people let their kids play on those things? That's crazy. Asking what the rule was that your parents had for you whenever you were a kid. You thought it was too strict and ridiculous. And then as an adult, you're like, wait, they knew exactly what they were talking about. Brentlyn had texted us and said, coming inside when the street lights come on because weird people come out at that time.
Oh, yeah.
Totally. I'm going to be out kind of later than I usually am out just on a regular day. And I'm like getting kind of nervous. Like it's going to be so crowded. I'm going to have to pay more attention to everybody.
Aww.
It's like I'm going to be on the road at 5 o'clock this afternoon.
It's still going to be plenty light on. This, like the street lights will be on. You'll be okay.
But then whenever Brentlyn heard that the reason we were asking about the rule that you didn't understand whenever you were a kid, now you get it, is because pediatricians have come out and said, trampolines actually dangerous. Brentlyn said, I love trampolines. I mean, I think everybody loves trampolines. I couldn't understand why my parents wouldn't let me have one whenever I was a kid. And now I get it. I used to think that the real danger, what do you think the real danger of trampolines is?
Well, as somebody who had a trampoline and used it pretty much every day of my childhood, I feel like the biggest danger were those springs. Like if you happened to land near those springs, your ankle would get jammed up in there.
It's not that they are saying is the biggest danger on trampolines. I always thought it was falling off. And then I was like, well, Mom and Dad, like just get the thing with the screen around it and that'll protect me perfectly.
And even if you tumble and roll, you're fine.
Well, it is not the falling off of the trampoline. It is the double bounce effect that makes trampolines dangerous. Yeah. They even have a word for breaking your legs on the double bounce. It's called a trampoline fracture. There was a little girl who got double bounced and broke her tibia. And apparently this is even a risk at like trampoline parks and everything.
Huge risk.
Because people assume that those are like safe areas. It's inside. You're not going to fall off onto the ground, but you can still get double bounced. So
that does make sense. So one, that's a perk of being an only child because most of the time that I was on my trampoline, it was just me. So there was no real risk of a double bounce because that's when somebody else is kind of bouncing and it's throwing off your rhythm. But also, when I did have friends over, that was like a game. Like it was fun to like double bounce somebody because they would like get so like.
And then it goes so high if it's timed out right. If not, they could tear their ACL. But I mean, that's the risk you got to be willing to take on a trampoline.
But at the same time, isn't that part of being a kid? Like you got to take risks. You're going to have fun.
Did you ever play Break the Egg?
What's that?
On a trampoline. It's whenever you get a bunch of people on the trampoline and then one is the egg. So they curl up in the fetal position and you have to not leave the fetal position. No matter how badly you bite down on your tongue.
I was a good egg. I don't think I ever bit my tongue. I was a good egg.
Was that the first time ever you were considered a good egg?
Adam and Allison in the morning.